Did you know that it takes only 50 milliseconds for people to form a first impression? And this opinion will determine if the person will stay or leave your site as well. That's why in this video, I'll share 7 tips to make your website look more professional. Hello Internet people, my name is Robert, and the first tip is to add your personality to the website. I know this one is tough, but if you get this right, you will not only look professional, but you can set yourself apart from competition. I'm afraid with all the WordPress templates and best practices online, most websites start to look exactly the same, very standard stuff. You need a way for people to distinguish your website from competition. But you can add your own touches through design, images, drawings, or tone of voice. I'll talk about images a bit more later. But for example, if you're a great doodler, you could create doodles for your website and spread them all over your articles. Obviously, it would be good that they somehow relate to the content too, but that's up to you. Here are a few examples of websites that do this great. Boxscreen.co uses very playful images, colors, and a bit of funky shapes. Another example is Artgraph.com. You can see the structure, everything is similar to any other web shop, but with images, backgrounds, and colors, they are able to inject some personality into the website. And since adding personality is so crucial online, check out how these 4 e-commerce websites have done an amazing job personalizing their website. And at the same time, boosting their revenue, even though some models have hairstyle like this one here. No, not my thing. The second tip is super simple. Make sure you have high quality images. Our eyes are drawn to images by nature. There are many studies showing this, and here's a research done on Zappos' website. You can clearly see the red area around the logo and girl's face. Pretty much all participants looked at these 2 elements. And there are multiple other studies showing the same. Visual elements get the most attention during the first few seconds when a person lands on the website. Now, if you have the time, the skills, you could use your own images. That will just give it a unique vibe and personal touch to the website. But I get it, for most of us, including me, it is not going to be possible. And if you need higher quality stock photos, you can use sites like unsplash.com or pexels.com. More about websites like these in this video right here. In any case, make sure you choose similar pictures in style so that you don't jump from black and white images to colored images on the same page or even on the same website. And actually, you can use stock images, but make the images a bit more personal by adding the same filter to all of your images. You could use canva.com, Photoshop, or even Instagram to add filters. That way you keep the same vibe across all images. And speaking of vibes, the third tip is to keep a consistent brand identity across your website and online overall. That includes images, but also fonts, colors, and tone of voice. Nothing screams more like amateur than inconsistent font sizes or images with totally different styles. Just pick 1 or 2 fonts, primary color and support color, and always use them in the same way. And for the color scheme, just select 1 or 2 colors that you'll use consistently across the website, and that's it. Don't overdo it. And I'm gonna talk a bit more about the colors later in this video. For example, here's cxl.com. They just use the red color to highlight the most important elements, such as the main buttons and links. The rest is black and white. The fourth tip is to keep visual hierarchy. But what does that mean? Well, the more important elements should be bigger and brighter. Again, brighter within your color palette. For example, buttons such as calls to action should contrast the background color. If you have a dark background, use one of your lighter colors for the button. And for fonts, this also means, for example, header 2 should be bigger or bolder than header 3. All of these changes will make your site look more professional and easier to read. And hey, you can always cheat by checking what medium.com does. Their whole website is optimized for readability and just to keep you on the website and reading more and more content. So just look at the font sizes, colors, and so on, and learn from them. The fifth tip is to get a custom email address. A custom email address just means that you have an email with your domain name. For example, robert@punchsalad.com instead of using robert@gmail.com. It's a huge difference, and I get a lot of emails from companies and websites that use a Gmail email. Sorry, if you didn't even bother getting yourself a business email, how legit can you be as a business? Those emails go directly to trash. If you already own a domain name and a website, then setting up an email address is totally free. Now, I prefer Gmail interface, that's why I use Google Workspace to manage my emails. If you are interested in setting that up, click on the white YouTube card right here and I'll show you how to do that. The sixth tip is more about trustworthiness, as it's good practice to leave a picture of you or your team on the About Us page. And also, if possible, leave some contact details, just a way for people to reach out to you. That just makes the site look more legit and trustworthy. And better yet, if you can add a phone number somewhere prominent, like in the navigation bar or homepage, that just gives it an extra touch. There are so many dodgy websites out there, and usually they don't have any real people on the site or contact details. In real life, you wouldn't trust a store if the owner is hiding behind the counter like, oh yeah, here's your product. It just doesn't happen. The same thing online. And the last tip is to get your color palette just right. Personally, I used to think choosing color is too hard for a non-designer like me, but there are so many tools that will help you find your colors even without any design experience. And in this video right here, I'll show you my top tips and tools that will help you to choose your color palette in just 10 minutes or less.